Good news, April 2020. It is out there. The good news, I mean. And especially now. I know what you're thinking. Huh? Good news? Yep. I mean, that is my job, at least once a month, to find you some good news. And to be honest, it actually hasn't been that hard this month. You may be surprised to hear that I found quite a lot of positive news, which I am very excited to share with you. Yes, with all the negative news and conspiracy theories vying for our attention, building up this frustration and this anger within us, take a moment. Take a single moment, or maybe the 8 minutes duration of this video, to just try on some good news for size. And you might find it feels a lot better. So welcome to my very next good news video for this, the 4th month of 2020. And first up, there is another really super cool positive good news channel out there. Yes, it's contagious. People see so much negative, they start craving for the positive. And before you know it, the good news videos are popping out like veins in my forehead while watching Trump talk about facts. Now, one good news channel in particular, which must be mentioned, is obviously Jon Krazinski's Some Good News. You know, the only normal guy from the TV series The Office. Married to Pam in the show? Not an Office fan? Okay, well, just check out the link to his channel below. I mean, he's famous. And once you've watched the video, you'll go, oh yeah, that guy, I know him. And he has countless other famous people on his Good News channel too. I mean, if you want to hear good news, you want to hear it from famous people. I mean, you don't just want to hear it from some random guy, right? When you can hear it from a famous guy and all his famous friends. So, jokes aside, check out Jon Krasinski's Some Good News. The link is in the description down below. And if I can send the 10 people who watch this video to also watch his video, I think I've done a little bit of something good. Because he deserves it. He's doing something great, and I appreciate that. Anyways, check it out. He really does seem like a nice, genuine dude, and his videos are chock-a-block filled with good news. Uplifting, feel good. So go on, you know where to click in the description down below this video. Second bit of good news coming out of China. Okay, so some of you may be thinking, China? Good news? Wasn't the last thing that came out of China the coronavirus? And yes, you'd be right. That was the last thing that came out of China. But the Chinese authorities have actually done something great, something which is worth promoting throughout the world. The Chinese authorities have reclassified dogs as pets and not as livestock anymore. So I guess this means that in China, they cannot raise dogs for food, but only as pets. I think that's kind of good news. So exactly what does this mean? Well, the guidelines that were passed indicated that dogs cannot be bred for food, milk, fur, fiber, medicine, or for military or sports purposes. And interestingly, in a memo, the Chinese government, they fully explained their choices, indicating the reasons for the change being progress of human civilization, and for animal welfare as the reasons that they chose to reclassify dogs, not as livestock, but as pets. The memo also indicated that dogs are not considered livestock anywhere else in the world, and China now aims to follow these same global standards. I don't know about you, but I really love that news coming out of there. I'm a dog lover, a serious dog lover, and I think it's extremely positive. But then, I'm not here to tell you what to think about it. I'm just here to report the news, the good news, that is. And in a third bit of good news this month, and I've no doubt that all of you have seen the countless stories of kindness, giving, and compassion out there, especially for those who are really struggling because of this current corona craze we are all dealing with. And there are so many beautiful and heartfelt stories of the same kindness, such as this one. An anonymous donor gave away $82,000 worth of gift cards to all 1,400 residents of a small Iowa town. And just like that, out of the kindness of his or her heart, and undoubtedly there were many people who needed it, and made good use of this amazing gift. So apparently the mayor received a call from an unidentified donor, or is it benefactor? Is that kind of the same thing? Yeah. Anyways, let's call him a benefactor. So the mayor received a call from an unidentified benefactor wanting to inject some money into the local economy by giving away gift cards to local businesses. And basically gifting a $50 gift card for each local business to each Earlham residents. Sorry, resident. So, no, residents. Yes, sorry, to each Earlham residents, because if it was resident, it would be every single person. But residence means each home, whoever lives there. I hope that's clear, because I feel like I'm confused. Yeah, I think it's clear. All right, let's move on. Anyway, that totaled to 3 gift cards for each family, meaning each family got $150. And what I love most about this story is the benefactor chose to stay anonymous. He or she didn't do this for the notoriety, to be recognized, but because he or she could. And they wanted to help. And I love that. It's beautiful, good, and a heartwarming story. Because there's so many countless millionaires, billionaires out there who have so much that they can give, that they can help with, but they choose not to. And those that do tend to do it for the notoriety. So they can say, hey, look at me. Look how much I've helped all of these poor people out there. So I think it's really a beautiful and kind-hearted story when someone can do it out of the kindness of their heart, without any intentions. Basically, unconditionally done. I love that. That's a beautiful story. And that's the kind of story I like to tell here at Tanuri X Good News. Anyways, last bit of good news this month. You've all heard about it. Maybe even seen some posts about it. Some unrealistic posts, yes. That happened? No, that didn't happen. But these posts were clearly in reaction to what is actually, really, and truthfully happening. Pollution levels are falling dramatically, and for obvious reasons. Fewer people out and about. Factories are closed. Less power needed. All of these, and then some other factors as well, contribute to the currently extremely low levels of pollution. You may have even seen many of these pictures of various cities during this time of lockdown, where usually you'd have no idea that a national landmark could be seen in the distance because of the smog and the smoke and all of this yucky stuff hanging over the city. That's the scientific term, by the way, yucky stuff. Yeah. And that is pretty much the only thing you'd be able to see. Now, all you see is the actual view for quite a beautiful long distance. And some say they can even see the stars, which they couldn't before. Asthma sufferers are also indicating they're able to breathe more easily. From clearer waters in Venice, something which was difficult to non-impossible to see before, to lowered levels of nitrogen dioxide in all major cities where lockdown was put in place. And why is nitrogen dioxide bad? Well, it can irritate the lungs, and inhaling this pollutant can increase the risk of asthma and inflammation of the lungs. So these lowered levels of pollution have had some unintended positive results on the environment and in turn those living in it. So much good news. Anyways, that's it for this month. I mean, I know I said there's a lot of good news, but I may need some good news for next month, especially the way this year's been going. So that's all the good news I'll be sharing with you this month. It's a lot of it if you think about it, and it's really, really positive. So let's hang on to that, the positive that exists out there, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to focus on the abundance and the greatness that exists here in the world that we live in today, in spite of the negative. I'm not saying we digging our heads in the sand. That's not what we're doing at all. We're recognizing it and we're acknowledging it, yes, but it doesn't mean that's all that exists. And it doesn't mean that's all that we should try to focus on, because we can focus on the positive because it is there. It is. Come on. Watch my videos and you'll see all the other examples of this. There is a lot of good news out there. Unfortunately, yeah, you do need to look for it because the traditional mainstream media, well, they're not exactly excited about advertising and promoting good news. It's all about sensationalism. So If you don't want to spend time looking for it, just watch this, my monthly video, to get your good news fix. Or watch some good news with Jon Krazinski, that really cool, famous guy from The Office I mentioned earlier. Check out the link to his channel below. Otherwise, without further ado, that's it from me, your good news host for April 2020. Until we meet again, ciao for now.